Belinda Selene and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a clean and decorate with me video. It's going to be a vlog style type of video, and that is because I'm just going to be cleaning around my house. I know you guys love cleaning videos, but I'm also going to be decorating, so it's the best of both worlds. And in the past couple of days I've just been hanging stuff up, and it makes a huge dramatic difference. Little things like curtains and picture frames and just things to hang on the wall. It just makes your decor look so different and so nice. And so I really want to share that with you guys, give you guys some ideas. I am planning to do an updated house tour like after half a year of what the house looks like, because we made a lot of changes, but I just feel like every single room is not completely finished, and that's why I've been hesitating like putting up a tour of the house. Yes, so I'll give you this for right now so you guys can get inspired and follow the journey along with me of making our house a home. So let's get into it. Alright, so I'm planning to put these on the wall. If you guys remember, I had these in a haul from a really long time ago, from 6 months ago when we moved in, and I never put them up just because I wasn't sure what I was gonna do and I was concentrating on other parts of the house. So we have a couple of picture frames here, and then we have this for our mail, and then I also want a place for us to put our keys because we need that by this entrance, since we use this entrance more than we do our main entrance. And then this is just such a gorgeous clock, but I do plan to get a really big clock on top of our entertainment center over there on top, and I want it to be like a 40-inch clock. So I'm like, is it gonna look weird if I have two clocks like in the same area? This is our dining room, our kitchen obviously, and that's our family room. And then I am going to print out some pictures and put them on here, and that is like my main goal for today. I'm gonna put all of these right here on that wall over here. So let's get started. Now before we begin decorating anything, I always have to make sure that the area around there is nice and clean, because then I feel like I'm not really being productive because it's still dirty around there and I just can't enjoy the decor. And so therefore I'm gonna go ahead and clean this spot right here. This is where we come in as soon as we come from outside, and right now it's snowing, so there's a lot of salt and then snow that gets trapped inside too. So I decided to sweep all the salt up, as well as our powder room downstairs. It's a half bath, and whenever we have guests come over, that's the bathroom that they go to. So I'm gonna go ahead and sweep that up, as well as go over it with the Swifter, because there's also a lot of water that comes in, or snow that melts and it turns white because of the salt. And so this place just, I can never keep it clean no matter how often I clean it. And I try to do it often because I don't want the salt to ruin our floors. One of the best purchases that I ever got from Target was this boot tray in the Target Dollar Spot section, because it was only like $3, and I pop it out every single winter so that we can put our shoes there so it doesn't melt on our floors, which is nice. And then I am gonna go ahead and just kind of eyeball where I want everything to be hung, and then I'll go ahead and I'll measure it to make sure that everything is centered. And what I'm using are these command strips. I use these all around my house. They work really great. You just have to make sure that you use enough, especially depending how heavy certain things are. I always like to add more than what's recommended on the packaging when it comes to the weight, just to make sure that nothing falls off the walls. And all you're doing is sticking one of them to the item that you're going to hang up, and then the other side goes on the wall. And then when you're ready to take it down, there's like this little tab at the bottom that you pull, and it won't damage your wall. So you don't have to worry about putting nails inside of your walls, putting holes. Some people don't know the difference between like drywall and plaster. Like there's different techniques and anchors that you use, and so this kind of beats the hassle of all of that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and hang it up, and then I leave it on there for like 30 seconds. Like I push it down so it could really adhere to the wall, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put both of those up, both of the picture frames. And what I like about these frames is that there's no glass to them, so that way I can switch out the pictures as often as I'd like, depending like on the season or anything like that. And also another tip that I do recommend is to use a leveler, I think that's what it's called, to make sure that everything is nice and even. I didn't hang up the clock because I couldn't find the perfect spot for it. I just didn't know exactly how I would hang them all up together, and so I decided to wait on that for a little bit. But I did put everything back, and it felt so nice to have that area clean. I like to do it at least like every other day or minimum once a week if I don't have the time for it. But now it just looks so nice. We have a place to hang our keys, and I love all of the pictures that we have. I love memories, and I often take so many pictures, and my goal has always been to get those pictures out of my phone and onto like some walls somewhere in my space, because those are happy memories and I like to remember them. So now every time we look, we could see like the last trip that we took, and I really like that. This one is one of my favorites. It's from when we went to Disney World. I loved it. I have a vlog on that if you guys want to check it out on my second channel, Belinda's Life. Alright, so now let's move on. I went to Target to pick up some extra curtains because I'm also going to be cleaning and decorating upstairs in our bedroom. But when I went to put the groceries away, I noticed that my fridge was just filled with a bunch of stuff that we didn't need. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna quickly clean out my fridge, because I try to do this every time I go grocery shopping, which is once a week. And this time I got behind and I left it for like 2 weeks. So I'm like, I have to clean everything out. So I'll just go ahead and take out things that went bad, like maybe some vegetables or like some produce or anything like that. And then I'll also take out some stuff from like those Tupperware of leftovers. Sometimes we don't eat them all. We like to do some meal planning, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of those. And then I will give the fridge a nice wipe down. I'll just spray some nice scented cleaner inside so it makes the fridge smell nice too. And whenever you're shuffling things around, I do notice some spills, and I'm like, where did that come from? I didn't even know something spilled. So it's nice just to keep it nice and clean and organized. That way you're not like, you know, it doesn't smell, because I do notice that some fridges smell, and it's because there have been things in there that, you know, need to be thrown out. So it's nice to go ahead and clean that every time you go grocery shopping. Believe me, it'll be easier and easier each time you do it, and it'll become a habit. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and kind of rearrange things before I put them in there. So now we have plenty of space to put in all of our groceries. Let's head on upstairs to the master bedroom, and the first thing that I'm gonna clean out are these drawers, just because like I said, I have to clean up before I start decorating. And this has been on top of my dresser for the longest time, and it keeps falling behind on the back because it's not hung up. And so I was like, you know what, it's just time to get some command strips and quickly put it up. So that's what I did. I just went ahead and brought my measuring tape out. That way it was centered exactly where I wanted it, which makes a big difference. And then I just went ahead and I measured that to make sure that's centered, and then I put some command strips on the back and quickly hung it up. And then on this side of the room, I just had a bunch of stuff laying out, and all the wrapping from the curtains that I bought from Target. And so I decided to quickly clean that up, so that way once I was done, I knew it was going to be late before I finished. And I was like, I don't want to be tired and not pick it up afterwards, because then I'm not going to be able to enjoy having the curtains up. So I just quickly picked that up. We have been living in our new house for about 6 months now, and in all of that time, I haven't figured out exactly what I wanted to do with this room, because at the other house, it was already finished, and so when I brought everything here to this house, I felt like it was really empty. It's a really big master bedroom, and we don't want to fill it up with unnecessary furniture, so I was like, I have to put up something on the wall, something to really complement the space in this room, because it's really, really nice, and I want it to look as nice as I think it will look. So I decided to hang up some curtains. I felt like that was really going to give it a little bit more of like coziness to the room. It won't feel so cold, and it won't feel like so bare and empty. And it took me a really, really long time to decide what curtains I wanted. Like, I'm talking about like 6-7 months, because I've been thinking about this ever since before we moved in, when we were closing on the house, and I really wanted like some nice curtains here, and I found them at Target. They were kind of pricey. They were $25 each panel, and so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put 2 panels here and then 2 panels on the bigger window, because if I buy 6 panels, it's going to be kind of ridiculous. And so I just busted out my drill and quickly put in some holes, because this one you cannot use command strips on. And so I went ahead and I also made sure to steam each panel, and this makes such a huge difference. If you guys don't own a steamer, I highly recommend to buy one. Like seriously, it is the best thing ever. I highly dislike ironing, and I never have to iron or bring out an iron board. I could just steam everything, even really delicate things, and I steam all of Ricardo's clothes using that. So oh yeah, the next project will be the laundry room too, so be excited for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put up one panel per window, and then I just think it made such a huge difference. I mean, I love the way that it turned out. It just looks really good. All right, so once we're done with that section, we're gonna move on to the next. And by this time, it was already it was nighttime, and I had to bust out my studio lights so that you guys could see what I was doing, because it did take me a while to do all of this. It looks like it's not taking me long, but it took me a couple hours to make sure that everything was correct. Alright, so now let's move along to the next side, and this side went a little bit faster because I already knew where like the wall studs were, and I knew exactly like what anchors to use, because at first it took me a little bit of a while to like measure the anchor size, because since we do have drywall, I need specific ones before putting in the nails, and my dad taught me that. I love that my dad has taught me a lot when it comes to just, you know, stuff around the house, because I could do it myself and I don't have to wait for Ricardo. Plus, I'm really picky with what I want, and I feel like he would just get frustrated with me if I'm like, no, that's too high, or that's too low, or that's not right. I just kind of would rather do it myself. And so I'm gonna go ahead and just finish that up, and I really loved how it turned out. I think it made such a huge dramatic difference. Overall, it just made the room look a lot more cozy and like warm, and it felt just more homey. It didn't feel like so cold, if that makes any sense. Especially because, like I said, it's a bigger space, and it just, I don't know, it was kind of a challenge. Alright, so now moving on to this side of the master bedroom. This side is kind of as big as the size of my old dining room, which is crazy. I don't know what I want to do here yet. I'm thinking of like a sitting area, but we don't want to spend money on unnecessary furniture, because there are other places where we'd rather spend money at the house. Like we want to install doors in our office and like other things like that. And so I'm not worried about this side, but I just wanted it to look somewhat like decorated and nice, and so I was like, you know what, I really have to make the curtain stand out on this side. So I wanted to stay really nice and clean, but I wanted the pattern to be very minimal. And I also ran into a problem here, because originally when I looked at the other side of the windows, those went down a little bit more, but the middle bracket, if that makes sense, or the middle rod needed to be a little bit higher because of the window. I'm not sure if I'm making any sense here, but you guys will notice that the curtains will actually end up hanging a little bit above the baseboard, which drives me nuts, and I want it to be all the way down at the bottom. So I might just sew some additional fabric on there. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. But as you can tell, like this right here at the bottom drove me nuts, and I'm like, okay, I'm not happy with it, but eventually I'll find something. And then also I just had to go ahead and fix, because it wasn't leveled as good as I wanted, but everything came out okay. It looks good, but I will add some additional fabric to the bottom. That is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I motivated you guys and inspired you in some kind of way, especially to clean, because when I watch these videos, I always just want to get up and clean anything, which is a really good thing. So please give it a big thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Muchos besos. Mwah.